Before we get into today's video, I wanted to thank you guys for the feedback on the previous episode. I tried something new with a highlight format over music without commentary, and you guys like the highlights, but you want the commentary in there that was clear, and you're going to get commentary over every game moving forward. But I've wanted to change the format of this series to really give it its own identity, and not to do the commentary the same way I would a franchise or dynasty series. For a long time, I've wanted to make a player-based series where we covered a lot of ground, there was a lot of action in every episode, and each game had a story to it. So, I've come back with a new episode today. I got immediately going on the next episode after I posted that last one because I wanted to give you guys a great episode, and I pushed back the Jaguars franchise one day so I could post this video today instead. And as always, I want your guys' feedback on this video. I'm all about making these series better, and I always like to read the feedback that you guys have. You have a lot of constructive things to say, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode in the Andy McKenzie Career Mode series. Today we begin with Week 15 for Andy McKenzie and the Houston Texans. Coming off that horrible defeat against the Lions last week, the Texans hope to rebound against the Patriots. And lucky for them, they had a little extra help with DeAndre Hopkins returning after recovering from his herniated disc earlier in the season. And for New England, there is the heir to Tom Brady's throne, Mark Sanchez. And you better stop laughing because Sanchez was not messing around here early. He helped take the Patriots down the field and threw a touchdown to Julian Edelman as they took a 7-0 lead. Afterwards, it was Andy McKenzie's turn, and he went back to the rookie Malcolm Riley, who's really heated up the last few weeks, and even with DeAndre Hopkins back, he's still getting plenty of snaps as the third receiver. Later in the drive, 3rd and 10, and McKenzie goes up the seam, and there's Josh Hill, the team's leading receiver. Remember when I questioned this offseason move? Well, here he is, over 750 receiving yards as the Texans get into scoring range, 3rd down. McKenzie buying time and reuniting with DeAndre Hopkins for the game-tying touchdown. Hopkins' only 2nd touchdown of the season, but it's just great to see him healthy and out there on the field making plays again. Jumping ahead after New England turnover, McKenzie back to work here in the first quarter as he hooks up with Malcolm Riley, and the Texans get back to inside the 10. On 1st down, they try to catch the Patriots off guard with a quarterback draw, and you see just how that worked out. Andy lost 7 yards. You gotta know when to just let a failed play end. Andy tried to make up for it on 2nd and goal, rolling out, buying time. Josh Hill open, and Andy just missed him. Should have been his 2nd touchdown. What do you think Andy was mouthing here? But that wasn't his last chance. 3rd and goal, could he make up for it? Up top and over the head of the jumping Malcolm Floyd as the Texans had to settle for 3. Moving ahead, and again the Patriots offense found the end zone, taking the lead 14-10 in the 2nd quarter. We're seeing more of these plays by Andy McKenzie, a lot more zone read to try and get him more running opportunities. He gets the 1st down there. Then from the 46, blitz up the middle, but back to DeAndre Hopkins. They get a 1st down into New England territory. Don't forget about the ground game now. Here's Arian Foster on the carry as he puts the Texans at around the 30-yard line, but he got shaken up again, and we saw that multiple times last episode. Back to the air on 1st down, and there's Malcolm Floyd inside the 10. McKenzie trying to get this offense in the end zone after the failed attempt earlier. And here is Alfred Blue on 1st and goal. He filled in very well for Arian Foster the last time he was injured. And here he takes it in for a touchdown. The Texans lead it as we jump forward into the 2nd quarter, 17-14. And again, Malcolm Riley getting plenty of looks his way. Later, a 3rd down and 8. Andy McKenzie trying to buy time to his right, sees a man open, the ball gets tipped, and Floyd gets leveled by a defensive lineman, and that left Floyd shaken up. He was alright, but did have to leave the game for a few plays, and this was Patriots nose tackle Breon Austin with the hit. Normally as a receiver, you're not counting on being hit by too many nose tackles. But later in the game, after a Patriot turnover, back in the red zone, and McKenzie nearly gives that one away off the hands of Josh Hill as it was deflected and nearly intercepted. That led to another Texan field goal, but the Patriots turned it over again, giving the Texans another chance before the half. McKenzie rolling out, and on the move, he's got Malcolm Riley as the Texans get back inside the 10-yard line. trying to pad this 6-point lead. You can see Mark Sanchez helping them out with 2 interceptions to this point. First and goal. Here's that zone read again. And McKenzie gets the Texans down to the 3. I'm not sure about that spot. Second and goal. Now a fake to Arian Foster. McKenzie on the move and fails to get rid of it in time as he is sacked by Breon Austin. And then it's third down and goal. Can they find the end zone this time? McKenzie going up top to Hopkins. He hauls it in but couldn't get his feet down in bounds. So again, the Texans settled for 3. We now go into the second half. Texans up by 9. And here is Breon Austin once again making plays all over the place as Arian Foster loses a couple yards. And it's third down and 12. McKenzie getting outside the pocket. He knows what he wants to do. Throwing it deep for Malcolm Riley. And number 82 goes in for an 82-yard touchdown. Look how far this ball travels in the air from the 15 down to inside the 25. Perfect throw by Andy, but not done there. The 2-point try off his back foot to Malcolm Floyd. Somehow the ball got there, and look at this one in slow motion. Just a desperation heave past the arms of Dante Hightower. New England did answer, and later in the game it's 31-21, and the Patriots are just having too much trouble slowing down Andy and this offense. They get to the red zone once again. But then McKenzie throws another interception. It's Gerard Mayo undercutting Josh Hill. For McKenzie, it's his 18th interception of the season. But immediately following, Mark Sanchez threw his 3rd interception of the day. So the Texans have it again in Patriot territory, and they lose contain here as McKenzie nearly dives for the end zone. Can Foster finish the drive? No, he can't. The Patriots holding tough down here, defending the goal line. Third and goal, the fake fullback dive toss never works, and the Texans end up settling for another 3. But they would get another opportunity thanks to another Patriot turnover. Unfortunately, this one went to waste as again Gerard Mayo comes up with the interception. Things got really ugly with these turnovers. And then Mark Sanchez, trying to make up for his mistakes, hits some big throws to get the Patriots down the field. And we're looking at a 1-score game with not much time left. 3 minutes to go. Can the Texans finish it? They had to move the chains and drain this clock, and it was off to a good start here with McKenzie hitting Josh Hill. Later inside 2 minutes, 3rd and 9, and again Josh Hill comes up with the reception. But they would need one more later. Patriots out of timeouts to ice the game. DeAndre Hopkins comes through and secures the Texan victory. Only 3 catches in his return, but 2 big ones, a touchdown and the game clincher here as the Texans improve to 9-5 on the season, defeating the Patriots 34-28. Andy threw for 2 touchdowns and sadly 2 more interceptions as the turnovers continue to be an issue. 292 yards on 31 attempts, 54% completion. He also added 33 more yards on the ground. DeAndre Hopkins may have returned, but it was still the Malcolm Riley show with 143 yards, including the 82-yard score. So heading into Week 16, then it was time to take on the 2-12 Tennessee Titans, with the Jaguars and Texans tied atop the AFC South. This Titans team has struggled, but they were coming off a victory at the very least. Could Andy and the Texans hand them another loss? First quarter, Titans lead 3-0. Andy McKenzie passing downfield to DeAndre Hopkins, and the goal this game was to get him the ball a lot more. Only 3 catches his first game back, while already 2 in the first quarter as he hauls in another first down. Now into the second quarter against the blitz, then McKenzie sails a pass down the middle for Malcolm Riley as they get inside the red zone. If those two can stay healthy, it's going to be a very dynamic duo for Andy McKenzie, but he still needs some help up front as he gets taken down here for the sack and Akeem Hicks was shaken up. They settled for 3 to make it 3 apiece, and here we are later in the second quarter. Off the fake, put some touch on it for DeAndre Hopkins. Good throw by Andy on the move again. We're going to take a second look at this one. Hopkins with the separation going all the way across the field, and they're back in field goal range. On 3rd and 2, Brian Orekpo makes the play as the Texans again had to settle for 3. Late first half, not much scoring going on. This is a third down for McKenzie, and he goes outside again for DeAndre Hopkins, this time on the comeback route. 4 grabs for 81 yards to this point. Trying to add points before halftime. McKenzie again buying time outside the pocket, and then leave him plenty of room to take off. He sprints inside the 20, and that led to another Texan field goal to make it 9-3. Here we are in the second half, and the defenses really took control here. The scoring was silenced, and there is Arian Foster being taken down for a loss. On second down, McKenzie heads back to the air, but he gets sacked once again. The defenses remained in full control of this game. Neither offense could get much momentum. Fourth quarter now, 3rd and 12 for Andy McKenzie. He looks for Hopkins, and that is going to come up a yard shy. Another drive ends without points as John Ryan comes out to punt it away. And it's only going to be easier for the defenses here as the punt goes down to the 3-yard line. Perfect punt by Ryan. And look at the lack of success from Tennessee, just 3 straight 3-and-outs. Now to start this possession, they do get a 20-yard completion, but just stall right afterwards. We go back to the Texans' possession. That punt helped them get good field position with the eventual Titan punt, and there is DeAndre Hopkins putting them inside Titan territory, trying to get in scoring range, and that's Malcolm Floyd doing just that as they get a first down around the 30. Now they're close to making it a 2-score game. Hands off for Arian Foster. He takes it off tackle. Nice blocking by DeAndre Hopkins as they get inside the red zone. 2 minutes left to go. 3rd and 6. McKenzie wants 6, and it gets knocked away from DeAndre Hopkins, but they still settle for the field goal that makes it a 12-3 game. And with the Texan defense continuing to dominate, Tennessee could not put a dent in this minor deficit. And the Texans ended up winning this game 12-3, winning their 2nd straight, giving them their 10th win on the season. No touchdowns whatsoever in this game, not a lot of offensive action. But Andy was able to limit the turnovers, no interceptions in this game, and the Texans did just enough. Look at the lack of yards there. Andy finished with 209 yards passing. The completion percentage was pretty good, but the Titans got pressure, and they took away the Texans' ground game. DeAndre Hopkins did have 8 grabs for a $126, so it's good to see him have a big resurgence in his 2nd game back. And with the Jaguars' loss in Week 16, the Texans had control of the South. If they could win in Week 17, the AFC South Division Championship would be theirs. And we're going to go into Week 17 right now against the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field. And I expected this one to be a snowy matchup, but it wasn't. The field is clear. And so, could they finish the season with 3 straight victories and prepare for the postseason? 19 touchdowns to 19 interceptions for Andy McKenzie, and early on, the Texans backed up McKenzie from his own end zone. Hits Arian Foster there on the outside as he gets the Texans some breathing room. And then on 3rd down and 4, McKenzie looking for Hopkins, and Leon Hall comes in to deliver the hit. Hopkins couldn't hang on, and that ended this Texan possession. Later in the first quarter, another 3rd down. McKenzie again looking to DeAndre Hopkins to move the chains. And the same result happens. He could not hang on again. We're used to Hopkins making those plays. No score into the 2nd quarter, and here is Arian Foster bouncing one outside. With the wheels to get around the corner, he gets the first down. Could the running game help lift the offense? Here's McKenzie scrambling to his right. The defender comes in to stop Andy, and that leaves Hopkins open for the first down catch. Texans on the move at their own 42-yard line, and that one hits Malcolm Riley right in the shoulder. Well, he wasn't even ready for it. You have to know the ball's going to come to you potentially in that situation. So what do? The next play, you go right back to him and let him make up for that mistake the play prior. They get into Chicago territory, hoping to get the first points on the day. 3rd and 3. And there's Hopkins again unable to hang on. Not sure they would have gotten the first, but that's 3 straight drops in traffic, and the Texans just keep the offense on the field, and they tried the quarterback draw. They might as well scrap that call going forward. Kelvin Shepard with the play. Chicago then scored the game's first points, and we are still later in the first half as Malcolm Floyd comes through with the catch, a gain of 16. And then on 1st and 10, play fake, McKenzie wanting the big play for Hopkins, and Leon Hall makes another play, taking this one out of the air. It's McKenzie's 20th interception of the season. McKenzie and DeAndre Hopkins just could not connect in the first half. Now in the third quarter, and the pressure gets there once again, a lot of interior rush. 3rd and 10 against the blitz, and McKenzie counters and hits Josh Hill for the first down. A couple plays later, 3rd and 12, needing another big play, and Leon Hall has another interception. McKenzie again looking in the direction of DeAndre Hopkins, and it just hasn't worked all game long. That time he forced it a bit, and Hopkins wasn't really even close. Luckily, Jay Cutler followed that one up with an interception of his own, but it was time for McKenzie to look elsewhere to try and push the ball down the field. Forcing it to Hopkins was not working. So after a first down to Riley, here's Arian Foster breaking outside. He breaks the tackle of Leon Hall. And look at Pernell McPhee with the hustle downfield as Foster again gets shaken up. He would later return, but for the time being, he was off the field. And on 3rd down, McKenzie crushed again. And that ended the Texan possession. As the 4th quarter neared, the Texans only had scored 12 points in their last 7 quarters, but McKenzie kept trying to get this offense rolling as Malcolm Riley, with a nice catch and run, throwing in a broken tackle into the mix. They get into Chicago territory, but to begin the 4th, the pressure gets there again. Every time they took a step forward, it seemed Chicago would knock them a step back, until Malcolm Riley came through with one of the game's biggest plays right there, to finally put them in scoring range. But they still had a ways to go. Luckily, things are a lot easier when your tight end is wide open. Josh Hill takes them down to the 14-yard line. Then on 3rd and 4, here's McKenzie on the move again. He's hit and nearly throws the interception. And Bill O'Brien, heated, tells the offense to stay on the field and finish what they started. And McKenzie hits Josh Hill, and they finally get into the end zone. The 4th down try succeeds this time, and the defense hoped to keep this game tied. Cutler hit Jeffrey for 18 yards, but then the offense stalled. And it was time to see if Andy could lead the offense down the field one more time. Perfectly timed throw there as he connects with Malcolm Riley. As you notice, as he kept going away from Hopkins, the more success the offense seemed to have as Floyd makes the reception there. And then from the 40, nice run here by Arian Foster takes them down to the 30. They just wanted to make this a closer field goal. And for good measure, McKenzie hit Garrett Graham off the bootleg, and they got inside the 15 to set up Josh Brown inside 30 seconds with the go-ahead field goal, 10-7 Houston. Could the defense hang on for just a little while longer? They sure could. A Brian Cushing pick six ends the regular season as the Texans win again 17-7. They close with 3 straight victories and secure their 2nd straight AFC South Division Championship. The offense didn't get very much done in the last 2 weeks of the season, but the defense was playing lights out. And if you remember back to last year, the season really had a turning point in a game against the Patriots where they could not stop turning the football over, and it happened again this year. The Texans get a first-round bye, but not the number 1 seed that belonged to the Baltimore Ravens, but still they were rested up during Wild Card Weekend. Here's a look at the NFC playoff teams, 3 from the NFC North. And in the divisional round, the Texans are set to take on the Buffalo Bills as they look to defend their Super Bowl title now in the postseason. Here were the wild card results as the Jaguars were eliminated by these Buffalo Bills. And they should be a strong matchup in the divisional round, especially with that defense in the front 4 that can apply a lot of pressure and eliminate your ground game. So that is up next for Andy McKenzie and the Houston Texans. Let me know what you thought of this episode down below in the comments section, and how would you like this playoff matchup to be presented? It'll be on its own. Do you want to see it in a video like today's with the highlighted recap style, or would you prefer it to be more of the traditional way I had been doing the games? I'm still trying to experiment with this series. And look at that, Malcolm Riley, 890 yards, that led the team. Good for him, especially the way he started. But I want to know what you guys want to see moving forward, and I want to continue improving this series and the presentation so that if I continue doing these career mode videos, I can make a really fun and entertaining series out of it. I'm going to keep trying to improve the style of these videos and using you guys' feedback as a way to do that. But thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please leave a like if you did, your feedback down below, and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next episode in the postseason for Andy McKenzie. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you then.